and welcome to a Friday night business review with MK and Jason, which is cheers. Yay, we made it to Friday, which we've co-opted this week to be the celebration Ask Me Anything AMA video for hitting 5,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, which is super exciting.
That's amazing. Congratulations again.
Thank
How many
you.
years to get here?
Almost 4. Almost 4 years. So thank you all for sticking with me for this long, for subscribing, for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you who subscribes, who comments, who engages on the channel, who buys my books, like everything. It's really nice to see. So I appreciate it.
It's true. I get to hear about it too, and the enthusiasm that comes from all of the members and all of the guests. It's always wonderful to hear.
Yeah. It's been a fun ride, and I think the best is still yet to come. So stay tuned, folks. But before we get into the questions, we have a little business to do. So first, I do want to give a big thank you to Formatted Books for sponsoring this video, sponsoring the time it takes me to put these together, to edit them. And they've been a really great supporter of my work. They've made my books look beautiful and amazing. Most recently, the Alpha Nina has the most beautiful book face anybody could have because of their amazing cover design and interior formatting services. So I'll have a link below for you guys to check out Formatted Books. Let's spread the love. They're another small, family-owned business, and they do a really great job. So I'd love to support them. I know we've been thanking the subscribers, but thank you so much to the subscribers. Like, really, we would literally not be doing this if y'all didn't subscribe. And a big thank you to the channel members. Those are the people who go a little bit extra, and they actually subscribe monthly. They pay a small fee. In exchange, they get bonus videos from me, and they really keep this channel going. The days when I just want to say, no, don't want to do anymore. I'm like, nope, I'm really helping people. I need to do this. So channel members keep me going. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Yeah, this is super fun. And you all say that you always want to see Jason back on the channel, so I talked him into it.
With a little liquid courage here, perhaps, too.
Yes. Out of our Drinking with Authors cups, I've been on their podcast twice, so now I have 2 cups. Thank you, Erica and team, for interviewing me, for supporting my books, and for sending us awesome cups and little mini shot glasses that say Drinking with Authors on them, because, let's be honest.
That's what I'm doing here today.
Yeah, Drinking with Authors. Boom. Cheers. Now, throughout the video, part of my announcement when I gave the initial thank you, I said we were going to be doing some giveaways and prizes. So throughout the video, we'll be announcing the people who've won prizes, but first we're going to go over what they are. So the first thing is a giveaway to everybody. Everybody watching this video, whether I call your name out later or not, is getting a little something. You can get 20% off my entire ebook collection, either on my PayHip store where you purchase from me directly, or from Google Books on the Google Play Store. 20% off when you use the code 5KSUB22. So 5,000 subs 22, 5K sub 22, all caps. That's good through the end of this month, April 2022. So if you're watching this and it's not that month, I'm so sorry. You can still buy my stuff full price. But if you're watching this in April, you get 20% off. So yeah, that's exciting. And then we're going to be going through the prizes. And so the prizes, I'm going to be doing giveaways of my books and my catalog. Helps me get through some inventory, but also helps you to kind of get some books, and I'll autograph them. Now, for any winners who are outside of the U.S., I'm going to send you an ebook or an audiobook. If I have to fill out customs forms at the post office, it hurts my day, it hurts my heart, and it's a lot more expensive. So I will be getting something to you, or I can just mail it to you directly. I just won't be able to sign it first. So if you win, we'll figure that out in emails. But if you hear your name and you've won, by the end of this month, April 30th, 2022, please just reach out to me directly. If you go to the contact me page on my YouTube channel, it'll make sure you're not a robot. Then it'll give you my email address. Contact me that way and say, hey, I heard my name. I won. I'm so excited. And we'll figure out the logistics. There's going to be 5 prize offerings, and then I'm gonna do first claimed, first served. So if you're oh, I really want that prize and I heard my name called, reach out to me. As long as I still have that prize in inventory, that's yours. If not, then it'll be whatever the next one is that you want. So that's how we're gonna play. But I'll go over what the prizes are.
So should they give the top 2 or 3 that they want, just in case they're the second person?
Yes.
To reach out.
Yes. Or you're just going to be optimistic and say, this is what I want. And I'll watch right away. So
do what you want.
you, but
Yeah.
just know, okay.
You may get a response.
No, I'll respond. I'll just be like, we don't have what you want. Okay. So first, the first prize is going to be a signed copy of the complete Author Your Ambition series of books. So that is self-publishing for the first-time author, book marketing for the first-time author, how to write your first novel, and going wide. All 4 books signed by me and mailed to you directly. Again, if you're in the U.S. The next one is going to be the Feminina series to date. So that's going to be the Infinite and the Alphanina. So you'll be getting the series to date. I have 2 more books I'm working on, but you'll just have these for now. The Project Collusion series, which is Nail Biters and Architects. Again, another series that not finished. Working on it, folks. But you'll have that at least. And then I have an Author Your Ambition journals. And so that's going to be Ambitious Author. I don't know if y'all can see that. You can see it if you go to my Etsy store and look at more. Follow Your Heart, Live Your Dream, Author Your Ambition. So we have different packets of this. So again, there's going to be 5 winners. I mentioned 4 different prizes, but I have multiple amounts of these books. So I can, yes, we can figure that out. But those are going to be the prizes. So
awesome.
And if there's another one of my books where you say, hey, I won, and I have all your Author Your Ambition books, and I have all the Infinite, and the Alphanina and all of those, but I really wanted Enemies of Peace, or I really wanted the Games You Cannot Win, I have those in inventory as well. Book of your choice. We'll figure that out. Okay.
And you're an awesome person.
You're an awesome
You're an
person.
awesome person.
Yeah. You're going to get my undying gratitude along with your prize. So, yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to get this shindig started. So Jason is going to read out the questions. The ones on YouTube I have obviously seen before. The ones that he has I have not seen before. So yeah, we're just going to get going. Get this party started. This is dark chocolate from Aldi, by the way. Aldi, if you would like to sponsor us, Mosher Roth chocolate is their brand. It's really good. And Aldi, we love you. We'll talk about you for free, but we'd like you to pay us for it. Or just on wine. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I may have reordered things.
Oh,
is that okay?
No, let's go to the bottom.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, let's start with Patricia. What are 3 ways to improve Amazon ads rankings? That's my question.
Okay. Well, Patricia, once I figure it out, I will let you know. So I'm currently running Amazon ads. I'm going to be doing at least 2 videos on my experience, maybe a third. I don't have learnings of the moment to share. I would say as far as your rankings in terms of Amazon ads, wanting to get your ad to show, I think Amazon, like most other services where you're doing cost per click advertising, they want to see longevity. So they want to see that you're running these ads a super long time and you're just constantly paying money in, working or not, you're just giving them money. Of course they want to see that, like that helps their algorithm, but most of us don't have the financial wherewithal to do that. I think you want to make sure the keywords that are successful for you in your ads are used somewhere in your book description. So like if you're bidding up on werewolf fantasy, there should be somewhere in the description, like part of the werewolf fantasy series, like you should make sure those words are somewhere naturally integrated into your description. And the rest, I truly, I don't know. I'm learning along with this process. And what I'm learning is ads are a bit of a racket for Amazon. It seems like, so I am not very well versed on it. And that's why I hired a professional. I'm going to do a whole video series on that coming up soon. So stay tuned. Yeah.
Now, does Amazon automate certain ads and you can customize it? So what would you recommend as far as using their automated recommendations versus customizing to your personal preferences or what you think would be the most successful?
So from what I understand, take that with a grain of salt, is that you should go with their automatic first, see what's working, see what's not working, and then fine tune, customized from there. But again, that takes a lot of time to kind of get statistically significant data to be able to then do that. And even the ads manager I'm working with, like that's what he's been saying this whole time. He's like, well, I don't have enough data to really make a definite decision. I appreciate that he wants the data to make a decision, whereas I'm just like, we're spending a lot of money here though. So can we... not getting anything. So there's part of it. I like the idea of maybe doing a combo of some automated, some like, your gut instinct. You're like, this book is, if you loved XYZ book, you are going to love my book, like bid up on that book manually. But I do like that they have some automated settings, and then you can kind of fiddle with it from there. Okay. So yeah, that was a great follow-up question.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, good job.
You ready for the next question?
Yes.
Great. The Rogue of Space.
Okay.
Hey, MK, congrats on reaching the 5K milestone. Your channel and literature for authors is super insightful. Plus, the style of how you present and share your wisdom is very humble.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, this is fun.
I'm not going to be humble after all these kudos.
Yeah. Or this liquid.
Or the vino, but yeah,
Yes.
it's great.
Okay, here's a question.
Okay.
What's some of your favorite sci-fi content that helped to inspire the Feminina series? And when will book 3 be coming out? Cheers.
Cheers.
LG.
Cheers. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for this question. So LG has been, I would say, a more recent subscriber, or at least a recent commenter. He's been really dedicated and loyal on the channel. So thank you so much for following. As far as, sci-fi content that I'm inspired by, that specifically inspired the Feminina series. So a few things. I love the Back to the Future series. Always have, always will. I love how it tied in. I loved how there was symbolism throughout. I loved how there were echoes throughout time of the same thing. I also really loved the Timeless series on NBC, and it was canceled, and it's the worst thing ever. And I tell you, there's probably at least once or twice a year now, I'm like, I just wish we could get this membership and just rewatch the entire Timeless series. And Jason's like, not again. And I'm like, no, it's the best show ever. And he was like, oh, it was good. And I'm just like, no, it was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed it. And I was watching it as it was airing for the first time, as I was starting to process some of these ideas. So definitely heavily inspired by that. I really also enjoy Margaret Atwood and a lot of her speculative fiction, and I think I tried to put some of those elements into the Feminina series and really into most of my work that qualifies under sci-fi. I think it also is on that speculative realm. I'm going to be doing a video series kind of on the difference of that. But yeah, those were some big ones. I mean, I've always loved science fiction. I'm a big nerd. Grew up watching Star Trek. Just, yeah, I'm a nerd. That's what I do. Yeah, and then when will book 3 be coming out? When it happens. So I've kind of just this week, which is also like awesome that all these confluence of good things happening this week. A lot of bigger projects have finished, and I actually had time this week to be like, I can just sit and write. Like, I don't have a million other things. I don't have people pinging me. Like, so I think that's going to give me some room to kind of work on these 2 novella stories, as well as book 3 of the Feminina series. I don't think it's going to be in 2022, but you never know. I could prove us all wrong. I do like to take time with my books. I like to be thorough. I really like to let the plot sit and be patient with it and say, no, wait, this is a better way to handle it. Even just today, I was thinking of something and I'm like, oh, that's actually going to be really good for book 4. So I kind of need to plant a little bit of seeds of that in book 3. So I have to write that down at some point. But yeah, it's probably not going to be till at least 2023 for book 3. I'm kind of hoping though, since I'm working on book 3 and 4 in unison, that it'll be a quick finish to the series. I know I don't do things the way you're supposed to, which is rapid release it and get it done. And I should know better by now, but I don't. I'm sure, yeah, we'll get to that later.
So if it was picked up on film, do you know which actress you would want to portray Nina? How many actresses would you need?
Well, it'd be one actress for the different Femininas. I haven't really thought about it, but...
You haven't?
I have a little. Okay, so I have a little. And so for like the Project Collusion series, I know in my mind who would play Dora. Like I was picturing her as I was even writing it, which is Alicia Vikander. She's done many movies, but she was, I think the one that everybody knows, she was in like the new Tomb Raider. She was in the Danish Girl, the Swedish Girl. I'll figure it out.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but like she's been in a lot of stuff. So I always wanted her to be Dora. As far as Nina, I really hadn't thought about it, but then, and this is kind of weird with me. Like I like to kind of bring in like my family to things, and like I extend my family to like my friends and like my classmates from high school. I went to a very small high school group, so like one of my good friends, Nora, actually did the cover for Nail Biters. Like very close insular group. And so I was even thinking last week when saw Ashley's really good news. So one of the women that I went to high school with, Ashley, her stage name is Ashley Lauren, so I won't say her legal name because maybe if we don't know that. But she has been spending decades since high school. I mean, she got into an amazing music conservatory for college. She didn't go. She was backup singer, backup dancer, like years and years and years doing stuff. And she finally landed. She is the lead for Moulin Rouge on Broadway. Like, she is Satine, like, right now. And so I was like, well, maybe, like, if they ever made, like, the Infinite a series, like, she would be like, I'm gonna do that. And, like, it'd be a fun way to, like, bring it back, like, into the family. She's an amazing actress and singer and dancer, and she might be like, I'm only gonna be acting in this, and I can do all these other things, so maybe this isn't for me. And she might be like, she's like, I'm not leaving Broadway to do your film. But that would be kind of a fun way to bring it around. But I hadn't really pictured any actors when I was writing it. But yeah, Ashley, if you also know somebody who wants to option the rights, write the screenplay, and do all of that, you're more than welcome onto the team. Okay.
Then books 3 and 4 would definitely get written quicker.
They would be written a lot quicker. We would reprioritize a few things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Okay.
SD Hudson. Congrats. I'm so very happy for you. First question. Do you think reader magnets are important for authors? If yes, what are best practices? And I'm going to add on for the corporate banker, what are reader magnets?
That's a great question. So thank you, SD. SD Huston is an amazing author. She launched her first books in January, and they've just been doing gangbusters. She's also a channel member, so she's been a great support of this channel before the memberships were available, and obviously since she's always commenting and giving me positivity. And she's actually hosting or co-hosting the AuthorTube Writers Conference this summer. So I'll have a link below. You guys can just start to get more information on that from her and Jenna that she's working with. But okay, as far as reader magnets, I think they're a best practice. When I figure out what the best practices are, I'll let you know. So a reader magnet is a freebie or a gimme. So, and this can be used prior to purchasing the book to say, hey, if you like this kind of book, if you like this style of book, check out this short story. And at the end, you're like, oh, this is actually part of a prequel to this entire series. Go check it out. Or it could be a bonus chapter, a deleted chapter, like think like with DVDs, like you have deleted scenes, you have things like that. And this can be used in fiction. I think it's really helpful in nonfiction to say, hey, you read this book. You can actually get all of the information in like worksheets that you can work through on my website. I do that actually a lot with the Author Your Ambition books. It's like, hey, I have worksheets for you that kind of explain all this. Go here and check it out. And I don't really use it as much of like a reader magnet at that point. Like it's not drawing them in, but it's like, hey, here's extra stuff for you. Oh, and then to get it, they obviously have to subscribe. And then I can be like, hey, thank you so much for subscribing. Please be sure to leave a review. Let me know what other questions you have. And oh, by the way, the next book is coming out XYZ date. So the best practice for it is that it's a very strategic part of your plan and flow. It shouldn't just be like, oh, whatever, like throw it together. I have a reader magnet. It should be really strategic as far as like, hey, like I'm using this at this point to say when book one ends, this reader magnet is a deleted chapter that still works with a story flow that is going to entice you to read book 2. Or, hey, this is the first chapter from book 2. Oh, wow, I really can't wait for that. Let me pre-order it. Let me do that. But like the best practices are the next book is already ready for pre-order. You know, you're doing the follow-ups, you're saying, hey, that's great, you won the reader magnet, you probably like the book, please don't forget to leave a review. So there's a lot of mechanisms that go into that. And I think it can be something as fun and silly of like, you know what, this is my first draft chapter and it is horrible and it's not edited, and have fun, have at it, like, you know, kind of see the thought process of the beginning. And I think we almost get lost in making it perfect and buttoned up that we lose some of that original taste and flavor with it, but I digress.
Well, it gives you a personal connection with the author.
Yeah.
And it gives you a chance to give your personality shine outside of whatever the production, whatever the book is that you're writing.
Yeah.
It's just another opportunity to connect and continue connecting with your audience.
It is. Yeah, so it has a lot of positives. I think the best practices will vary by genre, by whether it's fiction or nonfiction, and I think also by the audience that the author's cultivating. So, yeah. I don't know if that was helpful. I could maybe just do a separate video on it. Okay.
Sounds good.
Second question. This is also how I mine for video ideas, all the questions and comments that you guys leave me. I'm like, I'm getting a lot of questions on this. I'm just going to make it a video. So it's that's what I do.
All right, next question. What do you think about NFTs?
I think they're nifty. I think if an author is really well educated on blockchain, I think if they have the ambition to learn more about it, I think if they like being on the cutting edge or even the bleeding edge of what's coming up, I think they're a great opportunity to look into. Check out Joanna Penn's podcast, book, and course, all on this topic. So on her regular, the Creative Penn podcast, she's almost doing regular Friday, what she calls bonus episodes or mini-sodes on this topic of crypto and blockchain and NFTs for authors. I'll put a bunch of links down below. She has a course on it. She has a book on it. So if you really want to understand not only just what a blockchain is, not only just what NFTs are, which are non-fungible tokens, but to understand how they work for authors, she's done all the homework. She's doing the experiments. I know Jay Thorne with the Author Success Mastermind also is doing some stuff with it. I'm not. There are people who are, I don't want to say smarter than me. They probably are smarter than me too, but I don't want to put myself down. Who are much more invested in learning this right now that you can learn from. I am not invested in learning about it. I'm probably going to be 5 years behind the curve. Let's just put it that way. And I'm okay with that right now. I feel like my mental plate is so full we both want to actually learn more about blockchain and how it's going to work moving forward. We're just not there yet to be able to wrap our minds around it. So those are my thoughts. They're great. Can't wait to see what other people do. I'll be learning from somebody else.
I think that's a great strategy.
Yeah.
I think that the time and mental energy, I think it would be fascinating to dive into, but we're kind of in the same boat here, same house. So time is of an essence and it's a struggle right now. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so the third part of this question, and she could ask a ton more, she says, but she'll stop here. So that's very
that's very nice. You can send me other questions.
And I do like this question as an introvert myself. What are some ways to market your books if you're an introvert?
You could just not. I mean, that is an option. And that's one thing I want to throw out there. It is an option. Just write your books and put them out there. And if it's your hobby and you never make a dime, that's fine. So marketing, I would say, comes for people who say, I need to at least earn back what I put into this book, or I'm trying to make this a business. So I would say if it is your hobby and you're an introvert, cool. Don't stress over it. But let's say you're somebody who's trying to make a business out of this, or at least, net neutral financially, so you need to market it. I would say it's good to be upfront that you are an introvert, that you wrote this and you're kind of nervous about telling people about it. You don't want to seem salesy. You don't want to seem pushy, because you are probably going to hear from way more authors that are like, I'm the same way. I would love, send it to me. It's not even the genre I like, but send it to me. And if it's really not for me, I know somebody who might like it. Like, there are so many authors who feel like they're in your shoes that they just, there's more people that feel that way, but they're silent, so you don't hear from them. Than those who are like, hey man, I got this book, you gotta buy it right now. Or like, hey, I just wrote this huge series, you should buy it. Like, those people are loud, and you hear more from them because they're extroverted and they are in your face. And you know what? It works for them. And I don't want to seem like I'm putting down that brand of marketing. It's just obviously not for me. I'm very introverted. I make myself seem extroverted, but I'm very much introverted. And so, yeah, own it. Own up to it. Social media is definitely your friend. And I think a lot of people get into it like, oh, social media marketing, all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, but like there's a lot, social media has been very good for the introverts to actually connect. And like, this is a safe place. I can edit what I say before I say it. I can really think it through. I can, okay, like this is too much. I'm going to just close out of the screen. So I think really step into that, own your introvertedness, because so many other people are going to be like, you know what, I feel the same exact way. I've been exactly in your shoes, or I'm in your shoes with you right now. Let's connect, let's work together to find other people. And you can maybe just do like an introverted book bundle. All of you just read each other's books. You don't have any followers because you're introverted, but you'll figure that out. It'll come in time. And a lot of marketing is patience and time, but I would say, yeah, just kind of own that introvertedness and that vulnerability. When you're writing and publishing books, that's a very vulnerable thing to do. So like, just lean into that vulnerability a bit more and be like, I'm introverted. I don't have a critique partner. I don't have a reading circle, but I wrote this book and I want people to read it. Help. And you'll be surprised how many people reach out and try and help. So
Absolutely.
yeah. The world is a good place.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So many people are good.
Yes.
So many people are good.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think just owning that, like, I say this every single time when I join here, but it's what can you control and what can you not control? And it's like, you wrote this book and it's amazing, and you should do everything you can to let people know of this hard work that you put in. And you can control that. You can't control the reactions that you get from them, the feedback you get from them. But again, you're own that you put together an amazing product, and the world should hear about it, and the world should know about it, and at least have the option. So if they don't hear about it, they don't know about it, and that's a shame. They should know about it.
Yep. And I think this is a great time to do our first winner.
Yeah.
So I looked at all the comments prior to this. I did a little name wheel. And I got 5 names. And one of them was SD Houston.
Hey,
Congratulations, SD. You are a winner. Send me a message. Tell me which prize you want. I'll ship it to you. All right. 1 down. 4 more to go.
Congratulations,
Stay tuned.
SD.
It might be you. Okay.
All right, next question. So this from Glenise. Did I pronounce that correctly?
I think it's either Glenise or Glennis, if it's Irish.
Okay.
Or Glenish. We're not sure. You know how your name is pronounced. Let us know.
Please do.
Okay.
It says, congratulations on your milestone, NK. Way to go. My question for you is, do you have to have a legal business name in order to have your publisher's imprint on the title page of your book? In other words, when filling out the self-publishing form where it says publisher, can you make up your own name? Say, Silver Goblet Publishing, or something like that.
Well, that sounds like a very specific example. Is that your idea? It sounds like a good one. Okay. So when you are, I'm guessing this is when you're either in Bowker and you're assigning your ISBN, or you're perhaps assigning for your LCCN, or if you're even just on KDP and it's asking how you want that shown for your imprint. So first of all, with KDP, whatever the imprint is in Bowker or your country's ISBN distributing service of choice, it has to match that exactly. So if, like, for example, in Bowker, for the first several years of my business, my publisher name, my imprint name was my legal name, because that's just what I had there. So I would have to go back and make sure it matched. It wasn't until 3 years in that I actually registered an LLC for MK Williams Publishing, LLC. Super creative. I know. Just wowing you guys here with my creativity. And then I needed to update the imprint information. And moving forward, when it asks for the publisher, that is my imprint name, because that is what it says with my ISBN registry service for the US. So going back a step further, okay, so when you setting that up, you can either put your legal name, you can put an LLC name that you have. I would suggest that if you're doing something where it is a Silver Goblet Publishing, Black Raven, The Night Crow, whatever you would like it to be, that you do register it as an LLC. You're effectively saying that this publisher who's publishing it, whether it's you individually or maybe it's a company you've started, that they own the IP. And that if somebody is coming saying, hey, you're infringing on my copyright, or hey, you think somebody else is infringing on your copyright, that the owner is at this publishing company, Silver Goblet Publishing LLC from this example. So I would suggest still registering your LLC. Now, this may be different in your country. Talk to an accountant and a lawyer. I like also talking to an accountant, because the accountant probably can't file the paperwork for you, and they're going to tell you what you need to know. The lawyer's going to be like, yep, you sure need me. It's like asking a barber for a haircut. I was able to file my LLC without the help of a lawyer, but an accountant actually walked me through and was like, oh yeah, you should do this. I was like, oh, sweet. Thank you so much for your time and telling me. So you may need to do that as an official registry. It does depend on your country and sometimes your state. But I would say if you're operating under that kind of an entity in order to protect your identity and to house your IP, to separate it from you for liability purposes, register the LLC. If you're in the US, some states are super inexpensive. Like Florida, we're $120 something to register, $130 something for renewals every year. Apparently in California it's like $800. So do some research on that. I'm sure there's some people are going to comment like, no, you don't actually need to register the LLC. And I'm like, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just going to say you do. And then if you don't, somebody else can say that who's maybe a lawyer and knows that better. But I'm just going to err on the side of caution and say, yeah, you probably want to have that registered as an LLC just for official purposes. And so nobody else registers it. And they're like, well, no, I own this book IP. So that's what I would do.
If you're just writing the book for a hobby, it's a single book.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're just planning to write the one book. Do you still need to go through that process?
I personally don't think that you need to. And the nice thing is, so say it starts out as a hobby. You're like, this is for fun. Maybe my friends will buy it. Like, I really just want to see how it goes. And you are the lucky magical unicorn. You get lightning in a bottle. And suddenly your book is on the New York Times bestseller list. You've got Katie Couric, who's not even on the Today Show, calling you anymore saying, I want to interview you on the Today Show. You can see how long it's been since I've watched the Today Show. You know, you're like, okay, crap. Like, I need some legal protections. You can start the LLC and then transfer the IP into the LLC later and update all the information in Bowker or your ISBN registering service. Say, nope, now this belongs to this company. I, individual author, have signed over the rights to me, the owner of this new company. There's an easy way to do that. I actually have several videos on that I'll link below as well. But again, I do suggest, depending on your country and even your state, you may need to talk to an accountant or a lawyer just to go over that. I definitely wanted to make sure I had that because if somebody wants to come after my books, they can't come after my personal assets. If somebody wants to come after my personal assets, they can't come after my books. I wanted that division, but I didn't do that until I was like 4 books and 5 years in. So yeah, I would say if this is just a hobby, you don't need to do that right away. But as you start to build, you might think, you know, the next thing on my to-do list is getting the LLC. So there's a lot of nuance there. And that's why I do think talking to an accountant or a lawyer can help you kind of figure, do I need this? Do I not need this right now?
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Any more thoughts?
I mean, I have thoughts, but
right,
on that
okay.
question, I'm good.
Okay. Pause. We're going to pause here. Just so I can call you out.
Okay.
So this might could go in like bloopers, or you could just completely cut it out. Is this how you eat chocolate bar? Do you go around the edges
First
like
of all,
that?
there is a border. There is a border. I'm eating the border, and then I'm going to eat around the label, and the last thing I'm going to eat is the label that's on the center. It doesn't have little pieces. It's one piece.
This is how you have things organized.
Yeah, I have a process. I'm working towards the center.
Okay. If you say so.
See if Jason comes back on the channel. No, he's coming back on the channel. Okay.
Yeah, and we're drinking. I'm like, I slur my words enough on my own, on my best day.
But now we can just say that it's the wine.
Yeah. Cheers to the wine.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Guess more wine in my future. All right, let's keep moving.
Okay.
Estelle, congratulations, MK. That's a huge milestone. It is. Congrats. How do you balance your work as an author with the one of being a mom, especially during the early days of a baby?
Okay, well, big shout out and congratulations to Estelle as well, who is expecting, who may at this very moment have a baby when you're watching this. Who knows? I think she's due in May, but you never know. Once you hit 36 weeks, like all bets are off. So congratulations to you for your upcoming baby, and thank you again for being a channel member and being a big supporter of this channel. I really appreciate it. As far as balancing being a writer, having a new baby, do you want to say how well that went for me? Yeah.
It's a challenge, especially those first 3 months when sleep is not very consistent.
Yeah, I would say balance didn't exist for me.
Right.
But like balance for me, like as a person, didn't exist. We also had a baby who had colic, which if anybody knows parents or have a child who had colic, like you understand exactly what that means. So I would say in those first few months, some of the best pieces of advice we got Or that like you never know when it's going to end. So like when you just feel like I'm supposed to sleep when the baby sleeps, but the baby won't sleep unless I'm holding the baby, and I can't fall asleep holding the baby because that's not safe. And so you're just literally spinning in circles. You're like, I'm not showering. I'm not even changing out of my pajamas. Like, what day is it? What year is it? Like it is a total roller coaster, but then there is a day it's going to end, and you're going to be like, they don't need me to fall asleep anymore. And so I would say for those first few months, that true newborn phase, if the only thing you do that day is care for your baby, guess what? Success, 100%, A+. Like you did the thing you needed to do. If there's one thing you can get in for your author business, that's amazing. Rainbows and sunshine, over the moon, extra credit. And I think in those early days for me, I was like, there's one thing I need to do today. And that is make sure my video that I pre-scheduled got uploaded, and check the comments and just add the link onto my blog. That's that sounds like a lot of things. It's my one task that I have that reminds me when videos post. And it's like, that's the one thing I need to do today. It's going to take me 5 minutes. That's the thing. And if I got anything else other than that done, I was like, sweet, bonus. So it's giving yourself little, very manageable tasks that they can get done, and that if they don't get done, oh well. That's fine. I don't think you're going to be pulling from the best creative well. I'll say, and that was also for our situation, having the really bad colic. But I will say, you know, if you end up having to do any kind of pumping, that's a great time to just journal. That's also a great time to just catch up on trash TV and turn your brain off and let yourself just be a human. So don't try to cram every single minute to be the most efficient and optimized, because then when you do get to sleep, you're just going to feel like, all day I worked at being a mom, I worked on my books, I worked at everything, and I was not me. So it's a balance. Give yourself permission to like be a mom and be yourself, and then be a writer third, because it can feel like we're constantly in this rat race of I have to keep releasing books. Like, you don't. It's okay. Give yourself a break. So that's my advice.
And then when things start to get better, when she was starting to sleep more through the night and through the naps, we were constantly checking in with each other just to figure out what is like the number one priority today. Like we know we have these big picture items. We know our big picture items, but we're like, what do we need to do today? And maybe it was, I need a nap, or I just need 10 minutes to do this personal item that has nothing to do with the business. I don't care that we have all these tasks that we want to get done. So it was giving us permission for us type A personalities to step back, give ourselves the grace. Oh my gosh, we need so much grace.
So much grace. Like, fill your patience tank before you have a baby, because you and your partner or whoever is helping you, like, just be super patient with each other, because you're in it together. Like, you can't turn on each other. Your baby is a tiny dictator, and they are going to torture you with sleep deprivation and noise, like constantly screaming. So you and your partner need to be aligned against your dictator.
All right.
They're magical and they're beautiful. And I love our baby. Yes, I love our baby, right. But like, that's how you have to see it. Okay.
Right. Okay. If you had to quit your job now to become a full-time author, what would you do to prepare for this career change?
That's going to be the next video that Jason comes on with me. We're going to talk about when I hit my 3 years of being a full-time solo entrepreneur in June, exactly what we did. So a lot of it was a lot of financial preparation, making sure we felt solid with what was coming in for the business, what we had saved, having a day in mind of like, if something hits the fan and I make $0 for 12 months, then I have to go and find another job. Like, we're giving this a solid year. We're not going to hit the panic button early, like, which is crazy because like 7 months in, guess what? 2020, it's COVID, what? So we had that planned. I also did I did a lot of mental work. I'm still working on it, of like, my value as a person is not my job title, is not the cool company I work for. It's not the salary that I make. My value as a person comes because I bring value to the world. It's very hard to do. I would say in our society, I would say in most Western societies, like, we assign a lot of our personal self-worth to the money that we bring in. And when you're running your own business, yes, you can make a lot. You can also make not a lot. That's an option that a lot of people realize. So yeah, there's a lot of mental work. We're going to go over that in another video. But I would say if you're thinking about it, really dial in on your finances and your budgeting and your financial what is the word I'm looking for? Discipline. Financial discipline, yes.
And there's also, even though you're leaving your job for a reason, and hopefully for a good reason because your author business is doing so well, but your current occupation or job is probably giving you some satisfaction in some ways. Maybe it's the employee relationships, coworkers that you have, or just some of the mental challenges or games that you have, or just some of those things are going to go away. And so you might be missing some things that you might not realize. So think of the things that you do enjoy with your job and what you can do to replace those with your either your author business or just any other side type activities. Let's keep moving on to questions. So the next question comes from Kimberly. Congratulations. Oh, hi, Kimberly. Congratulations on 5,000 subscribers. MK, and all you do to support writers. Question. What is the difference between content marketing and using ads to gain readers and sales for fiction?
Okay, great question. Okay, I actually, so a few things. Thank you, Kimberly, for commenting and subscribing. So for those who are channel members, I actually did a bonus video, I think in February or March. I talked about content marketing, or I think it was titled like my best marketing strategy to date, and it has been content marketing. For a few reasons. I do content marketing. I'm super frugal. And so I've only recently started to do ads. I kind of dabbled in ads in 2020. And by dabbled, I mean like $15 here, $15 there. Dabbled in ads in 2021, like $25 here, $40 there. This year, I'm actually doing a much larger, more expensive test, but I actually hired somebody to help me with my ads. So the majority of my author career, which started in 2015, I was doing no ads whatsoever. So most of what I have has come from the long, hard, slow slog through content marketing. And content marketing is what you're watching right now. So when I put out these YouTube videos, it is me providing content to you authors out there. I'm providing it for free. I'm providing it with no monetary requirements. Obviously, like I have the channel membership now, I have books that service that, but like you're not required to buy those things to like get the free content that's there. And then I say, hey, like you're getting to know who I am. You're trusting the advice that I give you. So when I put out a book like Going Wide, when I put out a book like Self-Publishing for the First Time Author, people think, hey, like I'm getting value from this, and maybe like reading it would really help me understand what I need to do for my book. Or hey, maybe listening to her, like I want to hire her as a consultant for a one-on-one. Things like that is exactly what content marketing is. When you hear podcasters and they're in your ear every week, when you're watching videos like this, when you're reading blogs, that is content marketing. It is putting out content that is free and that builds a relationship with your audience over time, and then they want to purchase what you have. So for fiction, it can be a little difficult because people are looking in the world to be entertained or informed. And when they want to be informed, it's really easy to then say, hey, if you like getting this kind of information from me, you can get more when you are a channel member. You can get more by doing a consult with me. Like there's a much better one-to-one, like you clearly had a question, I can help answer even more questions. For fiction, I would say the best kind of content marketing is going to be talking about other books in your genre, which seems a little counterintuitive, right? You're like, no, I want people to buy my books. So why do I talk about this other book? What you're doing is you're trying to talk to your power readers, the people who are literally like, I want to read every single book out there that is this specific kind of romance trope, or I want to read every single book out there that is a modern adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. I don't care what the layer is. Like, I love Pride and Prejudice. I love Jane Austen. I want to read all of them. And you're like, guess what? I wrote one like that, and I love Austen too. And you're putting out content about all the modern adaptations and all those things because you're eventually going to find your reader where that is all they want to read. And believe me, there are a lot of people out there like that. I'm one of them. I read all over the place too, so it can be really tricky, and you can feel like I can only think of like 3 or 4 things right now for like content. The content will come if you look at a lot of people on BookTube or Book Talk or Bookstagrammers. They are just talking about books all the time. And so I would say some of the most successful channels of those are probably very well poised to make their own book and launch it, because they've been giving honest, genuine book reviews and recommendations, and maybe not so recommendations, for years to a very specific audience of people who like sci-fi. They like the books they're talking about. They said, hey, I'm releasing this kind of book. Boom. Within a second, those people are probably going to jump. It can be daunting. And maybe you already have the book and you think, well, I didn't build up this huge audience already. The building the audience part takes a really long time. And it's patience. And I think that's the one answer nobody wants to hear, is that, oh, it takes a long time. It takes a long time. It just does. And it takes a lot of patience. And guess what? You have all the time in the world, because you're going to be writing your next book and your next book and your next book. So be patient, be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. When you hear a lot of people on podcasts or these gurus talk about, oh yeah, I just threw some money up on ads and suddenly I sold 1 million books. It's like, well, either they did that the day that Amazon allowed for KDP authors to do ads, and there was no competition. They threw multiple figures at it, or some combination thereof. So be kind to yourself. Realize that this is a long-term game, and content marketing is a long-term game as well. So be kind to yourself, and don't feel like you can't do both. You can absolutely do both. But if you feel more comfortable with content marketing, do it that way. If you're like, I have no clue what kind of content I would make, maybe try ads. Maybe do a little bit of both. So it's different for every author.
Before I get into our second question, can you point Kimberly to any good examples of like best in class fiction content writers?
I would say V.E. Schwab does a really great job on her Instagram with what I would consider to be content marketing. A lot of people say, well, that's social media marketing. She's just constantly putting out updates of like what she's doing, what's going on in her life. She has a podcast with other authors as well, talking about their books. So she does a really great job continually updating her fandom, what's going on with my current books. Oh my gosh, somebody made this fan art of Kel from Shades of Magic series. Isn't this amazing? Like, she's putting out that content. So she's rewarding her community for sending her things and giving them kudos and, wow, this looks beautiful. She's putting out, reminding you, hey, I have this book series, very subtly, but not so subtly in there. She has a podcast out with other authors that she's also building this great community. Say, hey, if you like my books, you're probably going to like so-and-so's books. Or like, maybe you don't like my books, or you like this one series versus other, because she kind of writes across genre. So you might like this author too in this specific series that they did. So she does a really great job with that. And that's obviously like really, I mean, I feel like I just named a super huge titan, but V.E. Schwab does amazing content marketing. Even though a lot of it is on social media and the podcast, I'd say she's more social media content marketing than just posting on social media like buy my stuff. It's definitely much more content focused. Okay.
Awesome. I think you addressed the second part, but I'll go ahead and read it out here.
Okay.
Is it possible to gain traction selling fiction and gaining readers without paid ads?
That's what I did. I mean, I really didn't do any paid advertising until 2020. And when I did, it was mainly for my nonfiction. It was hard and slow. And there were, years where I was like, maybe this is just a hobby. What?
I don't know if I can say that or not. Okay, we're probably gonna need to go back.
That was awesome. So yeah, that's what I did. And it was long and hard and slow. And and it was difficult, right? It really used up a lot of the patience that I had, but I did have people who enjoyed it, and I knew I wanted to keep doing my books, and I built up the other elements of my author business, and now I'm actually looking ahead several years. I want to take away the other elements of my author business and just focus on my readers. So it's not something you're going to do overnight. I would say it's probably not something you're going to do in a year, and if you do, you're going to come on this channel and tell me how you did it. It's slow and it's okay. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy building a relationship with your readers, because that takes time. That takes effort, and it's not going to happen overnight. So you can absolutely do it without ads. I think the people who only do it with ads, they're probably sinking a lot of money into those ads. And maybe they're seeing an ROI, maybe they're not. Maybe they're independently funded, maybe they're drowning in debt. Like you don't know their behind the scenes story unless they're telling you that. So I don't want you to think, oh, but I heard so-and-so on this podcast just did it all with ads, no content marketing, and they're raking it in now. I'm like, yeah, maybe they're raking it in and it doesn't even cover the cost of the ads. So you don't know. Maybe it does. I'll be positive. Maybe it does. Maybe
Drop
it doesn't.
Drop that mic. I think it's great you're doing it organically, though. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if any big name author wants to just give me a shout out, I'll take it.
Mr. King, come
Yeah.
on out.
Yeah, he's our neighbor. It's
Right.
part of the year.
Exactly.
Should be buddies. Okay.
All right, let's keep moving.
Okay.
Courtney, how would you go about doing a collaborative book on KDP?
Okay. So I'm guessing this is where you would have a co-author, you and another author, maybe multiple authors, either wrote one book together, maybe it's an anthology. And I think the long story short of it is I wouldn't. So with KDP, one person has to upload it, and then KDP is going to pay that person, and then you have your other co-author or co-authors, and then you have to send the money. But at the end of the year, KDP is going to send you the 1099 that says you made X amount of money, and they're going to send it to the IRS, or yeah, they're going to send it to the IRS. They're like, yep, this person made this much money, and you're going to say, well, I really didn't make that much money because I had to pay my co-authors, and they're going to say, yeah, prove it. So in this case, I would use either a draft to digital. Publish Drive allows you to do it, but I personally would not use them because, well, I don't use either draft to digital or Publish Drive. I put that there. I've never done a co-authored book, but based on the research I did for Going Wide, draft to digital allows you to do books with multiple authors where they will automatically split the payments for you. They can get the book onto Amazon for you if that's your main concern, is making sure it's on Amazon.com, it's on wide retailers. And so you just get your share. So you are not responsible for then remitting payment to somebody else, handling extra tax documents. You're not responsible for it. Drafted Digital can do that for you. I say Publish Drive can do it as well. It's a similar mechanism. There's a subscription fee to publish your books onto Publish Drive. And if you're a first-time author and you're maybe not making that much, you may not even be covering your subscription cost with that. I think some people might be like, oh, it's only like $10 a month. And it's like, yeah, like some first-time authors, if they have no audience, aren't making $10 a month. And that's a reality. So I would definitely use one of those services because it's going to make it easier on you. And nobody has to worry about, well, so-and-so didn't pay me on time, or, hey, what's going on? You're like, this is the 1 week I chose to take a vacation and I have all these other co-authors asking me for money. And like, I'm back next week. Like, calm down. Like, it's going to save you time and hassle and headache if you go with one of them. Now, I should say, I guess technically I now use Drafted Digital because I'm a Smashwords author and Drafted Digital acquired Smashwords, but I've not actually used their interface and I've never co-authored a book. So
if Courtney and friends join a LLC, Courtney's LLC, which puts together this book, can this LLC upload to KDP? And
yes. And then the LLC would be issuing payments and then have to send out 1099s for those payments. So again, if you already have something set up that's more like, if at the point of co-authoring books, you're like, yeah, I already have 20 books, I already have an LLC, absolutely do that. But I would say, yeah, just get ready for some of that extra things you have to do. And like, books are like a forever and ever amen kind of thing. Like, this book will be available for sale until all of you and your co-authors decide to unpublish it, or until all of you perish. This is a very long-term commitment you're getting into. So also think before you do that. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next
That was
question.
maybe a little grim, but yeah.
All right, Nikki.
Okay.
What is the hardest part of publishing for you? Love your videos. So informative.
Thanks, Mickey. So I would say the hardest part of publishing is marketing. And like, I used to work in marketing. Like, it was my full-time job to market for a major sports brand. Like, they trusted me to do their marketing, and I did it, and I did it well, and I crushed my job. And let me tell you, the thing I do not like the most about my business is the marketing.
Why?
I just want to write. I just want to play. I just want to write and think of pretty thoughts and think of fun stories and make videos and like connect with you all. And then I have to market. And I have to think about, well, what about this? And I get ideas like for how to market it. And then by the time I get in front of the computer, I'm like, I don't know. How can I make this look pretty and eye-grabbing? What hashtags? I don't know. So I it's the part I like the least, but also it's the part I should enjoy more because it used to be my job, but maybe that's why I enjoy it the least. But yeah, if people would just buy my books magically, I'd be very happy. Everybody would. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Gina says, congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you use a special software for writing. Do you use AI to write your books for you?
No, I do not use any AI assisted programs yet. It would be fun to try.
That wasn't the question.
But I don't use. Okay, well, that was a direct. No,
Sorry,
I don't.
Gene.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I use Google Docs at first and then Word to edit.
Okay.
The problem is, though, I've always liked Word. When my file gets above 50,000 words or so, it stops telling me my typos and misspelled words. The file gets too big. Thank you.
I'm guessing it's doing that in Google Docs because I use Microsoft Word and it still tells me all of my errors. So I use Microsoft Word to write. I've always used Microsoft Word. It's nice. It works offline. Occasionally, especially when I still had a corporate job, I would just pull up a Google Doc sometimes and start working on my books. Because then it's like, oh, maybe I'm just working on marketing copy. Like they couldn't tell. No, I didn't do that. So yeah, I've always used Microsoft Word, and anything that I did kind of work on piecemeal in a Google Doc, I would always then put into my Microsoft Word document. I just use Microsoft Word. It's what I'm used to. It's what I like. Sure, I could learn another software. I could also just write my next book. Like, I use Microsoft Word. I've not had the issue with the errors not being reported, and I would think that might be something with like updating the software. Like if there's software updates, I actually, it's hard to do now. Like a lot of, if you go from Microsoft Office, they will try to get you to subscribe to Microsoft Word. It is very hard to find, but it does exist on the website. You can just buy the license and own it. And it also comes with all of the updates. So you should be able to update that. I'm not an IT person, so maybe reach out to Microsoft directly because that sounds like something where maybe the software update hasn't come through.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Easy Graphics. Congratulations. Next stop, 10K.
Yay!
That's the goal for
this year, 2020 goal. So hopefully we're doing this again New Year's Eve or before New Year's Eve,
Yes.
hopefully. For
Thanksgiving.
10K. Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Or New Year's Eve for 10K. Yeah, let's make it happen, people.
Easy Graphics question is, what's your favorite beverage?
Fine. Okay, so I have two answers for this. So I would say in the day, well, I drink a lot of water. It's not a favorite. Like I just drink it because I need it. My body needs it. But my favorite would be iced coffee, which is crazy because I did not like coffee till I was 30. I did not like coffee. Like if I smelled it, I was like, that smells disgusting. I did not like coffee till I was 30. And then a flip switch, and now I like coffee. I like iced coffee though, with almond milk.
Diluted. It's very
It's about
diluted
half
coffee.
and half. It's half milk and half coffee. And you all can support my coffee buying through my Buy Me a Coffee link. And I would say in the evenings, I enjoy wine. I like a good Cab Sav. I like a good Shiraz. I like a good Moscato or a Prosecco or champagne. And if you want to also support that, you can buy me a coffee, but just saying that this is for wine or for champagne or something. But those are my favorites.
And we've been drinking some kombucha lately because
We
we got fancy over here.
We're fancy with our
yeah.
kombucha. Yeah, taking care of our bodies. Wait, let's do another winner.
Oh, yay.
Okay. All right. So again, from the list from before, we have Glennis, 1, Glenish. You won.
Congratulations.
And you can tell me how to pronounce your name correctly, and I'll pronounce it correctly from here on out. Congratulations. You won from the prizes at the very beginning. Let me know. Hit me up. Congratulations. You rock.
Awesome.
Yay.
All right, the next question comes from Riley. Congratulations on your channel milestone. I'm relatively new to this party. Welcome. But I've gained a lot already through the videos and our one-on-one session.
Yay. Yeah, it was super fun to connect.
My question centers around debuting. You have all the knowledge you've gained over the years, but your books have mysteriously disappeared. You have zero social media presence. You're starting from absolute scratch. Minus a bunch of lovely big-brained ideas. How do you launch? What do you do to maximize your sales? Are your book sprouting for arcs? Are you Amazon ADing for success? Are you freaking out and crying in the corner? Looking forward to this.
Okay. I would definitely be freaking out and crying in the corner if my books all suddenly disappeared and I couldn't fix it. Yeah, so I would say if I had to start all over, so kind of thinking of what I did with the Nail Biters launch that I kind of regret is I wrote it and got everything ready to publish in a vacuum. So I didn't share with people that I was like, hey, like, because I had written several books at that point, and people were like, oh, what are your hobbies? What do you do? I'm like, oh, I read. I didn't want to share with people because I didn't want them to know that it obviously didn't work out. If I had to be like, they were like, oh, what happened to the book you're writing? I was like, oh, it didn't work out. So I think I'd be much more upfront with like, hey, I'm writing a book. I'm working on a book. I would probably reach out to people sooner for input. I would make a bit more noise about it before being like, hey, the book's on pre-order, which is what I did. I was like, hey, I have a book, it's on pre-order. And people were like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you were writing a book. I didn't know you were even thinking about this. Like, I think I would have started talking about it a lot sooner. And that's one mistake I do see a lot of authors make, because they don't talk about it. And it's a very personal decision. And it's, again, when you're writing a book, you're sharing that vulnerability. So that can be a little difficult. Yeah, I would do that. I would probably give away a lot more copies of the book, but it's tough to say because I gave away a lot of free copies of my first 3 books, of Nail Biters, of Games You Cannot Win, of Enemies of Peace, and I would say 10% of them were good at following through and leaving reviews. So like going with no readership and giving away a bunch of arcs on the different platforms that now allow you to do that, it's really discouraging because so few people actually follow through and leave the reviews, and the people who do are very picky and they only want to read books from people who have lots of followers and fans. And you're like, well, it feels like a double-edged sword. So it's a lot of bootstrapping. It's a lot of just pounding some digital pavement to find people who want to read the book. I probably would have gotten in touch with our library a bit sooner to really find a good connection there. Yeah, those are my big 2.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. What local connection, local bookstores, just to start to really build that community, get it, the local groundswell. So yeah, the library, local bookstores, looking in your genre online for little social gatherings.
Yeah. Those are great ideas.
Yeah.
I should just listen to you.
So yeah, any other?
Those are the big ones.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I would do ads right off the bat, just because I wouldn't have reviews. And so you're sending people to a page with no reviews. And so it's a lot harder to get them to convert until you get those first reviews. So it's like, yeah.
Right. What about conferences? Would you?
Yes and no. So again, in that content marketing bonus video I did for channel members, I talked about how conferences have helped me on the author services side of my business. I don't know if going to a conference would help on the fiction side because I've never done one. I've seen people do it the right way, where they make great connections, they meet great critique partners, they find great editors, they find good people that way. I've also seen people go and they take every piece of advice from everybody at the conference. Taking the piece of advice from every single person at the conference means that you never get your book out, because you're constantly remaking it for each individual that you talk to and not for the individual behind the keyboard, which is you. So I think if you have the mindset of like, I'm going to go to network, I'm going to take advice, but I know not every piece of advice is going to work for me and my book and what I want to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And cry in the corner as well.
And cry in the corner, because all my books are gone, yeah.
All right. Sheila asked, once you get your book in audio, what is a good market skill for it?
So I would say the things that apply for audiobooks also apply for your other formats. I'm actually doing a series of articles with Find Away Voices just talking about specifically marketing for audiobooks, and most of what works for that works for your audiobook. Like the second you start recording your audiobook or start hearing auditions from narrators, you need to be talking about it. You need to be, and it can be subtle, like, oh my gosh, I just got the first sample back from the first narrator who auditioned for my audiobook and it sounds amazing. I can't wait to hear the rest. And you're not selling anything. You don't even have a link where people can buy things yet, but you're talking about it early. You're talking about it often. You're providing samples when they're available. You're doing a narrator reveal as well as a cover reveal. Like, it's these little things of just keeping it top of mind for people. Like, I heard a quote back when I started my professional career with marketing, that people had to see something 7 times before they decided to buy it. That number has likely exploded now just because there are ads in our face all day. So I would definitely keep that in mind.
Okay. So our next question comes from Mallory. Congratulations. That's a major accomplishment.
Thanks.
Ooh, I want to know, what is your least favorite part of the writing process and why?
Okay, I'd say my least favorite, and I consider writing as drafting, so I'm not going to talk about the editing phases or the publishing phases, but like writing. My least favorite part of the writing process is when I'm about 80% done, and I'm like, I know the rest. I know what I need to fill in, but I just have to do it. Because in my mind, I'm done. Like when I'm at 80%, because usually at that point, I've written some at the beginning, I've written some in the middle, I've written the end. And so I'm like, well, I'm done. I'm like, but I'm not really done because I need to fill in these things in the middle that I skipped over, which were like the not fun bits. So that's always the hardest, is like that final 20% of like, I feel like I'm done, but I'm not done. But I feel like I'm done, but I'm not.
Or when I walk in the room, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You're like, I'm writing. I'm like, let's go for a walk. It's beautiful outside. And you're like, no, I'm in the zone right now. I'm flowing.
Yeah, I think that's tough when I do feel torn between like, am I being present enough in my personal life or writing, or like we'll just be sitting around like playing with our daughter and you'll be like, what were you zoning out about? I'm like, well, I was trying to memorize this bit of dialogue, so I was saying it to myself 12 times so I can go and write it down. You're like, why don't you just go write it down? Yeah. I'm like, okay, thanks, bye.
The eyes have glossed completely over. Like, she's like, in her world right now.
I'll be doing something in the kitchen and you'll be like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, I'm mumbling dialogue to myself. For my book. That's the fun part. Getting caught doing that is not fun. Right. Having to explain, yes, I am talking to myself. I am talking to myself. So.
And at that point, let's announce another winner.
Yeah, winner. Okay, so our next winner was Mallory Wanless. Congratulations, Mallory. You are a winner. Reach out to me.
That was perfect timing.
It was perfect timing.
I didn't even plan that.
Boom.
All right, our next question comes from David. Hi, I just subscribed before watching this video.
Woo,
Congratulations on reaching 70 times 7 times 10 plus 10.
Okay.
4,900. Wait, 4,910. I must be right.
Okay.
Have you yet made a video about free barcodes that you were researching? If so, I'd be very interested in seeing it. Thank you for all that you do.
Yes, I did make that video, and I think you actually commented on another video and I responded. Yes, so I have a video where I compared 2 free barcode services. I'll link that below, and I actually, somebody pointed out 2 other ones, so I'm going to test those as well whenever I have a new book that needs a barcode. So I got to write another book. So yes,
sounds good.
I do have that.
490, 4,900, 4,910 plus 100.
So maybe at the time they posted, I already had another 10.
That could be.
Maybe.
Again, it's empty now. The Rogue of Space.
Hey, second question. Yay.
Okay, I was just thinking of another question to ask. What are some of your favorite book series in any genre?
There's going to be a lot of guilty pleasures on this list. I do really enjoy the Harry Potter series, have since I was a kid. I do really enjoy the Twilight series. I don't want to hear it. I enjoy them. I really enjoyed the Shades of Magic series from V.E. Schwab. I really enjoyed... I'm really enjoying the Inheritance Game series by Jennifer... I forget her name. It's so good. The Inheritance Games and then the Hawthorne Legacy. And the 3rd book isn't out yet and it's killing me. It's really good. But I kind of read across genres. So those are the ones that stick out first in my mind. I'm sure there's other ones going to be like, oh, I thought of like 5 more. And I'll just flash them up right now on the video. But
yeah. You just read the Thousandth Floor.
Oh, that was a really... Yeah, The Thousandth Floor and American Royals by Catherine McGee are amazing series. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. And then remember, my old high school classmate went to college with her. And so I follow Catherine McGee. I follow like my favorite authors on Instagram. And so my high school classmate, again, this really small high school, she's like posting photos from this wedding. And I was like, I think Catherine McGee is in a photo with her. And I clicked on it and it was like... I'm not going to say it because I'm guessing it's her private personal account. And I was like, she knows. She knows my favorite author. And I don't know my favorite author. I'm like, okay. Well, she's not my favorite, but like, I really enjoy her series. So why can't we just be friends? Okay.
So we have one more question on here. Okay. I've prepared some questions.
Yes.
So what do we want to do as far as our giveaways.
Okay.
And maybe rapid fire questions at the end.
Okay.
Sir.
Let's do this final question.
Okay.
We'll do a giveaway. We'll do your rapid fires. We'll do the final giveaway. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Let's roll with this. All right, Tanya.
Do it.
Congrats. That's great. I've been watching your videos since before you were monetized.
Thank you.
Can you share more about your own publications if you have? I don't recall seeing much in previous videos, but it could be me, bad memory, with this medical condition. But congratulations either way.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being such a great follower and supporter all this time, for being there. And I will say I try not to be, again, I'm kind of introverted. I try not to be too pushy or salesy about my books in my videos. So I am glad you asked this question so I can just tell you all about all my books. So I have 2 science fiction series. I have Project Collusion series, which is Nail Biters and Architects. These are both apocalyptic dystopian sci-fi. If you want to be dropped into a character mind frame as the apocalypse is happening, and then the sequel is kind of both prequel and postquel. You'll read it to understand. This is for you if you like conspiracy theories, but not like you like to read them in fiction books, but you don't like them in real life. Then you'll like this. It's fiction, people. It's not real. So that's one of my series. I have obviously the Feminina series with the Infinite, the Alphanina, and 2 other books to be written, which is multiverse, time travel. If you like a good Michael Crichton adventure, these are for you. But also it's very feminist focused. I call it like feminist sci-fi, smashing the patriarchy through the multiverse. That's what this one is. I have obviously my Author Your Ambition series of books, which are all nonfiction to help first-time authors and authors who are kind of needing help. I realized people watch my videos, but some people learn the best with videos. Some people learn the best through reading. So I pretty much downloaded my brain into these books. I also have The Games You Cannot Win and Escaping Avila Chase. So The Games You Cannot Win is a collection of short stories. Escaping Avila Chase is the novella at the end of that collection. So if you just want to read the novella, which is very... they're all very character driven. So if you like literary short stories, this could be for you. Enemies of Peace is a domestic thriller / fi fiction for all of our fi folks watching. Am I missing any? I don't think so.
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it for what's out. So thank you, Tanya, for asking this question. Give me a chance to run my books. You're the best. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to do one more giveaway before we do your rapid fire. And the next winner is Courtney Frazier. Congratulations, Courtney. You're one of our 5 winners. Please reach out to me. Thank you.
Okay. From the videos you have recorded, which one was the most fun to produce?
Okay. The most fun to produce was the Taylor Swift video. The one about my theory about why Taylor Swift will one day self-publish a book or publish a book, and when she does, it's going to be self-published. That was super fun.
And she can contact you.
Yes,
for
Taylor,
advice.
I'm not taking new clients, but for you, I will make an exception. Let's hang out. Let's be besties.
Which video did you think was going to change the world? And then it flopped.
I think I did several where it was like the 6 questions like you need to know or you need to ask yourself before you decide to self-publish. And like really it's like the basis of what I do when I do my consults with people, and like people are like, this was so helpful, like you really helped me get my book off the ground. I'm like, great, I'm gonna put it in video form, like anybody who needs it can have this. And it just didn't.
Just didn't resonate, didn't it?
And I think some of my first videos, I really didn't understand the YouTube algorithm, and I was like, yeah, this is totally gonna go viral. Like people, this is so helpful. And now I look back and I'm like, I can see why nobody watched it. So, yeah.
All right. If you had a panel of 5 of your 5,000 subscribers, what would you ask them?
Okay, so if I had a panel of 5 of you, why couldn't I just ask all of them?
You can ask everyone who asked a question here today.
Okay,
That's
this is
your
my panel.
Yeah.
So I would say, what do you want to know more about that I've not talked about? What am I doing that's the most helpful for you? What have I done that's been the most snooze-worthy, where you're like, I'm not gonna watch that. That doesn't help me. Or like, I'm watching this, like this is weird. I don't like this. What is your biggest problem point in your author career? so I can figure out maybe how to help you. And what are your other favorite channels to watch on YouTube? So I kind of could maybe understand styling. Yeah.
Good questions.
Yeah. So put that below in the comments so I know. Okay.
All right, let's say you had to sign off, or YouTube was shutting down.
Oh my gosh.
And you had one last message to give to your audience. What is your message?
Oh my gosh. I would say you're doing the thing. So don't let anybody else try to make you feel less than. Like, you're doing the thing. Like, you are an author. You are writing your book. You are publishing your book. Like, don't let anybody, somebody in your life, some random troll on the internet, try to make you feel less than. Yeah.
All right, figure to end it with a lighter note.
Okay, yeah.
Tell me a favorite joke.
My favorite joke. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. And let me tell you, those who identify as female in the audience are going to get it right away. And those who identify as male in the audience are going to be like scratching their heads. It's a bit of a long one. Anyways, Kelly's getting married. Her parents got divorced a couple years ago, and she's been really nervous, but it's a time to bring family together. But her dad's bringing his new girlfriend to the wedding. And of course, her mom won't stop talking about that and, you know, not focusing on her wedding day. And so to get her mom excited, because she's nervous about this whole situation, like her daughter's getting married and her ex is bringing his girlfriend, Kelly was like, all right, Mom, let's go dress shopping. Let's pick out your mother of the bride dress. Very exciting moment. Her mom walks out. She looks amazing in this dress. And she's like, okay, great. That's your dress. You got it. She goes home. Kelly's dad's girlfriend wants to go shopping with her too, because she's like, no, this is great. You'll do this. Go shopping for a dress. Kelly doesn't realize till she gets home. She's like, that dress looked really familiar. My mom got that dress. Okay. All right. Now I have to tell my mom, because not only does she have this dress she loves, but the man that she divorced is bringing a woman who's going to be wearing the same exact dress. And so she tells her mom, and she flips out. She's like, no, this is my dress. You can tell her to go. No, like I picked it first. And finally, after some tirades and some wine and some cooking, she says, fine, I will buy a new dress for your wedding. Let's go. And so Kelly takes her mom to the dress shop. They get a new dress. And they're at the checkout line. And she says, Mom, where's your dress? We have to return it to exchange it for this one so you get store credit. And the mom says, no, I'm keeping it. She's like, Mom, where else are you going to wear this mother of the bride dress other than my wedding? And she said, oh, I'm going to wear it to the rehearsal dinner. And if you're a female, you are laughing your butt off at that joke right now. And if you do not identify as female, you're like, I don't get it. The joke is Kelly's mom's going to upstage that hoe and wear, well, she's not a hoe. She didn't break, she's not a home wrecker. But anyways, Kelly's mom's going to wear that dress first. So she's going to look like a copycat the next night. That's the joke. And it's a great joke. I stand by it.
You own that joke.
I own that joke.
You own that joke.
I own it. All right, well, that was my super long joke. What is your joke? What is your tiny joke?
Mine's a little bit more simple than that one. So
Okay.
There's no thinking about this one.
Okay.
But what's the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
Okay.
One is a little heavy and one's a little lighter.
That's a good one. That's a good one. If you guys want this to become a comedy channel, let us know. That was really good.
Thank you very much.
I like that one.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
All right.
That's it. That's
great.
had.
That was great. And with that, we need to do our final
one
prize
more.
winner. Okay, our final winner is Riley. Yay! You won, Riley. And your first book's coming out pretty soon. So any of you authors watching, let's build this community. Let's encourage each other. Let's support each other. But first and foremost, I really want to thank you all so much for watching this, for congratulating our prize winners. You're all really winners because, again, you're all getting 20% off my ebooks either through my PayHip store or on Google Play Books when you use the code 5KSUB22. It is good through this entire month of April 2022. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody who's subscribed, to all of my amazing channel members. Thank you so much. And another big thank you to Formatted Books for sponsoring this video and other videos and making my books just look so beautiful when I don't have the time or inclination to do so. So thank you. All right. This has been real.
Cheers to 5,000.
Cheers.
And cheers to the next 5,000.
Cheers to the next 5,000. Hopefully we'll see you all before the year ends with the 10K celebration. And let me know what you would want to do for the 10K celebration. Just drop ideas below. All right. Keep it real.
Bye-bye.
Bye.